Pink Cloud Radio 65. And being in this mode of complete understanding, I think, because really it's not really about the understanding. Seeing as I didn't get too many views recently, but it's alright. I'm not looking for the views, I'm looking to release this attitude. Because I talked about instincts and abuse last time when I quit. But how can you be happy when I'm there? When you're not happy when I'm not there? I thought about that, and it really is true. Like, when I truly know how I feel about somebody, I'm gonna be happy even if I'm not around them at that point of understanding that there needs to be a separation too, that kind of space between the people. That's what I've kind of felt about this whole thing about life, that I'm starting to get that it's not really about separation, but it's about understanding the difference between what a relationship is and what a relationship does. You know, I mean, that you can't like make everything the same thing. I think that's what I truly mean when I say that. Especially when I say, how can you be happy when I'm there, when you're not happy when I'm not there? It's kind of like there should be that unlimited happiness almost, that sort of like undescribable happiness. But in a lot of ways, that's what really has been the camouflage with most relationships nowadays. That's what I mean by abusing instincts, is that a lot of people abuse their instincts. They do what they want, and that's fine. Do what the fuck you want. Just, you won't be able to do it to me. You know, but I really think that's a matter of choice. You know, and literally everyone has a choice, you know, in that form or another. I mean, it doesn't mean that when you don't make a choice or when your choice comes for you already, then it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You know, sometimes those are the best choices you can make, is ones you don't make, is ones you just do. You know, I mean, I could say a lot of the friendships that ended in my past were based on me, were based on my attitude, my reflection on it. But in a lot of ways, if there is no kind of consensus between the people, I mean, what can you do? You know, if you want to be right all the time, I gotta go, you know, because I'm not trying to be right. I love being wrong, because I learn a lot. But you have to accept that I'm wrong, too. Like, if I'm so wrong, just accept it. You know, don't look at it bad and mock me. Don't be sarcastic about it. Don't get irritated about it. Accept that I was wrong. Like, in so many ways, people don't do that. They like to stand on things until it dies. But it's dead already. You're beating a dead horse at a certain point. And I think that's what I mean by you gotta be happy even when I'm not there. Because that means that, how can you be happy when I'm there, but then when I'm not there, you're not happy? That doesn't make any sense, because you already have in that possession, in that thought, in that relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's something else, whether it's something that's gained, released, known, unknown, anything you want. But if you don't know what it is, if you don't know how it is, then right there you're creating, or you're making a space for something that hasn't been done yet. That's how I knew, when I make space for something that the other person doesn't care that I did, then I have to go. Because I made space for you, and you don't want that space. You want something else that I can't give you. And I think that's what the difference is that I've learned, is that whether or not I'm sentimental, whether or not I have a lot of energy, whether or not any of this stuff, no matter how I use the energy and human source that I have, whatever, that no matter what, it's not going to mean anything until it actually does. You know, I don't need somebody's undying trust. I just need somebody who's not afraid to say what they feel. That you have to say it. You know? That, you know, like I said, how can you be happy when I'm there, but when I'm not there, you're not happy? Well, that doesn't make sense, because I'm still there. Even if I'm not there, I'm there. And I think that's the difference, is that a lot of people don't believe that anymore. They have so much use for material, having the cell phone all the time, that they don't really notice that somebody's not, they don't really notice if somebody's still there, even if so. Like, if they're married to somebody, for example. Oh, well, my husband's not here right now, my wife's not here right now. Well, guess what? They must be fucking somebody else, or something like that. They're using that kind of logic, which, hey, a lot of times it can be true, but it may have been because they already were after sex and options only. If they're only after that, you already got that open door for you. You already knew that thing was coming. In that form, at least. You know, because if that's what you're looking for in the relationship, the beast of a relationship can't last forever. Not because, you get bored with the same partner. No, it's because you don't understand that you can't go farther than just sex. That's all you ever go towards. You know, you gotta have more. You gotta have mind sex. You gotta have it all in introspective mode too. It means you gotta give time for yourself just as much as you give time for the relationship. Introspection as well as expression, you know, giving it to the other person. You have to say it, you know. And I think that's what I've become, the straight edge filler. If that's the case, you know. It's the idea of being a virgin and filling a void of a non-virgin. That's what I am. I mean, that's what I do. I notice that with a lot of people, the admiration they have for me not having sex. Oh man, the admiration is huge. It's very annoying too, because it makes it seem like they never were a virgin at any time in their life. Yes, you may have gone and had sex at whatever age you had it at, but guess what? You still know what a virgin is. You were one. Now, if you want to forget what you experienced before you had it, then you just want to forget it. So I don't know why you admire me. You wanted to forget being a virgin very quickly. So I don't know why you have any thought of me filling that void. That's a void? Well, then you should have noticed that before you did anything. Because you had a full spirit and now you have a void. Motherfucker, that's annoying. It's true. You know, if you wanted something so badly that you figured out that you needed that part that you got rid of, well, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Because you should know by your own experience what you're gaining and what you're losing. If you think you're gaining something better, think about this. You don't need to look at any other thing like Maury or Jerry Springer or anything out in the world to try to deceive your interpretation of life. It has to be your interpretation, not somebody else's. Not, you know what, let's go to Vegas. We see it everywhere. No. What do you see everywhere? That's the first thing you gotta say. What do you see everywhere? Not what you see everyone else seeing everywhere or what you see from everything else coming at you. What do you see and what do you put out there? But maybe you don't have an idea of your own. If you don't grow your own ideas, then, you know, you'll never be satisfied. All you ever do is look for voids to be filled from somebody else who's not as controlled as that. You know, that's the thing that really identifies a lot of people, is that, well, you know, that person right there is a virgin, so they must know how to control themselves. And that's their identity of it. That's their sentence. Like, well, it wasn't about control. It was that I'm not going to get anything until the glass is full. Meaning that I'm not going to do anything if it's just half full. You know, it's not zero. I'm not going to do anything when there's a zero chance. It's only 0 or a million for me. 0, get out of here. 1 million, we're going all the way. But if you don't want that, then you go away. And I think that's what makes me the straight edge filler. Made a poem about that too, but really I think that's the idea of it. You know, the idea of being a virgin and filling a void of a non-virgin. I mean, it's so funny. It's like, you would almost think it's the opposite, because at some point they probably were in that position to say they felt like they were in a void because they were a virgin. But now they're in a void because they're not a virgin. So they constituted their contradictions just as much as the contradictions with anything else in the world right now with people, especially with humans. That they contradict their spirit. They contradict who they are. They contradict their morale, their character that can grow. They contradict it so they never go anywhere in life. And that's what makes it so easy. As long as you're doing something unimportant, don't worry about it. You know, that's the thing that makes controlling all these people so easy. You don't need to be a genius to do it. You just need them to not have any perception of themselves. And let you control what perceptions they'll have of themselves. If they're going to feel bad about themselves, self-depreciate everything, you got them under your fist, buddy. You got them under your thumb, under your toes. You got them controlled. That's the easiest way to control people. Make them believe their perceptions can fly anywhere. There's a difference between imagination and pretending reality is imagination. There's a big difference. A huge leap of difference. So when you create a real imagination, such as looking back at even children's stories like the Wizard of Oz books, all of them, not the movies so much, but the movies can be a good example too. But specifically the books, if you look at that, that's an imaginative world coming with everything around what L. Frank Baum, for example, the original writer, wrote, which was the Yellow Brick Road was based on the Yellow plank road that he walked on before. So he created things based on his real life images into something else. So he didn't discredit what reality was. He created something more from the reality he saw. So, like, if you're going to do that, but you're going to base it on the reality, I mean, you're an idiot. Because you can't change the reality if you're just going to see it as unreal. It's there. It's right in front of you. You can't change that. Now, I'm not saying that it can't be changed, but I'm saying you can't change that based on your thought, your perception. You have to actually do something. And I think that's what a lot of people think they do when they're having sex and, you know, they're giving up their virginity for something. Oh, I know I'm fighting for something here. Well, actually, you're just having sex. You're not really fighting for anything at all. And I think that's where I understand where some people have told me in the past that they get attached after they've had sex. Well, no wonder why I haven't had sex, because I get attached already. I don't even need to have sex to know I get attached. Why do you think I'm doing this Pink Cloud Radio? Because I get attached. It's true. No denial there. Duh. You know? But it doesn't mean I need everything from you. And it doesn't mean if you gave everything to me that I need it now again. It actually means that you have to accept the rationality that I get attached. It may not be rational for most people, but I don't give a fuck about being rational to most people, because most people just want sex and options. That to me is rational for them. I don't put them down for wanting that, but they put me down for wanting something else. Well, fuck you. You don't need me around then. Project your own beliefs on other people and make them look bad. Motherfucker, you're gonna end up dead. And that's the one thing that I've learned about all this, especially the virgin stuff. Like I said, being that straight edge filler, you're filling somebody's void. You know, basically it's admiration. You know, using virgin against someone just as much as not a virgin. You know, I could use it against anybody, but I don't. If they want sex, they want sex. You know, it's nice if they want something else too. If you change your mind, if you want something else, totally understandable. You can do that too. Do whatever the hell you want, you know, but don't make me have to change because you're not happy. I don't like Marcello's attitude here. Then don't fucking talk to me. It's a pretty simple solution, you know. If you don't like my attitude here, I'm not, you know, I'm making it crystal clear. I'm not trying to answer for your future, your present, or your past. Motherfucker, that's an ass. It's true. You know, I've heard people answer for me a lot of times, like, you're not going to end up with this person, or you're going to end up with this person. And it's like, when did I ever say that? You know, I've expressed my feelings before many times. No denial. But I'm not a type of person to keep on pushing it on you. Now, I may still have those feelings inside me, but I'm not going to be like, you know, I'm going to tell you every time I see you about my feelings. Nope. Say it once. Talk about it later if you truly want to talk about it. Makes sense. But if you're just trying to penetrate the defenses and see, let's see what Marcello can handle. No. I'm not going to do anything if you just want to trick the game. Motherfucker, this ain't a game. That's the difference. And that's the one thing that I've learned about relationships in any general term. Whether you're talking about just having a casual conversation with somebody, all of it leads to the same thing. Unless you don't try to penetrate those defenses and understand the kind of person you're talking to. And that's the one thing that I've personally learned throughout my lifetime about people in general. Is that either you're going to try to be there, or you're going to be there to try to control and define the other person. You know, disapproval, approval, judgments, those kind of things. Now, if you want that kind of stuff, get away from me, please. You know, if I wanted that kind of person, I'd ask tactlessly for a bully. You know, I'd raise my hand and say, you know, is anybody a bully here? I just want to get beat up from him, you know, just saying. You know, I'm a glutton for punishment right here. But a lot of people would assume that anyway, because, you know, I'm interested in conspiracies or so on and so forth. Well, it's not really that. I just personally think that you don't need to be a genius to do evil things. And when people say evil genius, I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't take a genius to do something evil. It takes a genius to do something good. Because they actually will look at the good that people do and try to emulate it and try to grow with it. You know, but they'll notice even more the evil. You have to be a genius to notice all the evil that people can do, that humans can do. You know, all the good that humans can do. What about all the evil that humans can do? It seems to be more accomplished in that department right there. So we should look at that more and see why. Well, it's pretty easy why. Bullying, revenge, you get a lot more out of it, you know. If you help people, you get hurt. If you hurt people, you get up. there you go. And a lot of people solidify themselves in doing that, and that's fine, but I don't have to. Just because everyone else runs with the punches doesn't mean I'm going to throw any punches. It means I'm going to get out of the punch line. And that's the one thing that I've learned about life, and generally what I felt about, especially again forming to this straight edge filler kind of thing, is that, you're using virgin against someone just as much as not a virgin, And that's the one thing that I've been put in to, is that, oh, you haven't experienced it, so you don't know what attachment is. I said, yeah, I do. You want to know how much I cried when I've lost all my friends? Even my first friend that I felt was going to be a close friend, when he said to me, oh, we're not best friends. You know how much that hurt me? Yep, I tried to keep the friendship going, and it hurt like hell. And then it ended. So, I don't need to have sex to know what it feels like. I've had sex up here in my brain, in many forms or another. And it isn't about, like, sexual at all. It could be just the sex of connecting with people. That's all I need. And I'm already attached, and I bleed. But that's the one thing that is you're never going to understand. You're always going to put a physical moment higher than what this moment is right here. I don't need that to know it. That's how I know I can't do it until someone truly wants to be there. It's either 0 or 1,000,000. Either you're going to get out of my face if you don't want it at all, or you're going to go all the way with me. And if you're not going to go all the way, what's the fucking point? I'm not saying that, some journeys are not about the ending. Some journeys are about the journey, so I understand that. If the relationship is not supposed to be for the ending, if it's supposed to be for the journey, I understand that. But you can't put that down either, because you're putting that down basically by putting down what I feel. That's the one thing that I've learned about journeys in general. The journey, haste. So much haste. But there is no haste. You don't need to be hasteful about it. Just go along with it. See what happens. And then see the ending. That's the one thing I tried to do, but the one thing is, if you know someone else is not happy, you can't do yourself in like that. You can't do them in like that. That's the most important thing. When you know someone else is not happy, you can't be the straight edge filler for them anymore. Because that's all you will be. The dick in a box, or the dick in a glass jar, or whatever. If you're a guy like me, you'll understand. Not even being a virgin, you don't need to be that to be considered a straight edge filler. Because it's not really about that. It's more about, like, the intimidation of what people have versus what they really want. Well, if you truly wanted that other thing, don't waste my time. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk that you decided to spill. Because no one else spilled that milk. No one else spilled that milk. And I think that's what I've learned, that this straight edge filler is exactly what it... If you're going to dictate what a response is based on that kind of stuff, then you don't see anything else as any more important. Like if I were to say, hey, I truly love you, it means shit to you because you haven't had sex with me. Because I haven't had sex or something like that. You would automatically dictate it towards that. So like what somebody says about admiring me because I'm a virgin or something else like that, right there, they're showing what makes the relationship whole. That's it. That's all. That's Marcello right there. I'm the death king when it comes to that. Because I'm not afraid of love, therefore I'm not afraid of death. If the death of a relationship is supposed to come, it will come. But if we can last, let us last. Don't destroy it by the clasp in your brain telling you to have your perception burned down with self-depreciation. Understand that there's more in mental sensation. But I think that's what I've learned about this whole thing, is that many of it is just too much admiration. Basic admiration is just too highly impregnable. Like, hey, I admire you so much. Oh, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck is this shit? No thanks. Not to say you can't admire it all. Certain admiration, believing in somebody, that's great. But at a certain point, there's destructo bots everywhere. It's like the Matrix. You don't need technology to see a Matrix. I could see the machines attacking me like they did the Nebuchadnezzar in the first movie. Pretty easily. And the second movie and everything, all those machines that went after them in the real world. Right there. That's the attack drone. That's what I see in everybody. Sadly, I just see faces of that. I don't see faces of real people. Especially if they had that kind of attitude to admire. It's like, that's not a good quality. That's along with their ego and pride that they must have a huge amount of. Contently speaking of, saying they admire me because of a virgin that they've used to be that they don't notice anymore. They only notice it through me being a virgin now. So ultimately, people can't possess something and understand what they are if it's not happening at the moment. So they use it through somebody else who is experiencing it at the moment. That's why I think that's why a lot of times people get, a big rush when they see people get hurt. Oh man, this is great. Because they can experience that at the moment. They can laugh at it, they can cry about it, they can be hurt with it too. They can do it all. But they can't do it by themselves. So that proves how much imagination people don't have. But it also shows the ignorance that people have. If you can create your own imagination, but you use it to everybody else's well-being, that you're not seeing as a well-being, and that only well-being that's been there is how you think of them, then you've already shown how you're going to tame the beast of yourself. You're not ever going to. You're just going to contradict and conkle everybody else's life. Yes, I said conkle. But you're just going to try to batter everybody else's, cages and say, this is how you're supposed to live, Marcello. And that's why you lose me. Because once you tell me how I'm supposed to live, you're basically telling me that this is how you have to express yourself. No, thank you. I express myself the way I want to, the way I feel happy to, and the way I understand others to. If I understand people enough, I know how to express myself. And that means, at a certain point, I don't need to express myself. They know. Which means you could either still keep me there, or you could kick me out. But you have to decide that. If you want me to be the bad guy, I'll try to do that. But I most likely will never accomplish 100% what the bad guy can. Because I'm not a bad guy. I'm not an asshole. But I think it's easy to just consider it that way and say, hey, he's an asshole. But it's easy to do that because you admired me so much. So your admiration created the sensibility to call me an asshole now because I didn't live up to that admiration. But neither did you. You didn't live up to that admiration either. And you admire me because I'm a virgin, but you're not. So it doesn't even make sense. Why would you admire somebody who's a virgin when you're not even a virgin? I never understood that concept right there. It's that straight edge filler. It fills that void that you never had, that you never had been. You had been a virgin, which means you still are. You just don't want to go back to that anymore. You have to. You have to experience your past and understand your future. And understand your present. Forget about the future. You got to understand your present by going through your past. And once you do, you don't need to worry about the future. The future will come along once you place yourself in stone setting of the present. That's what I'm doing. This is the stone setting of the present in Pink Cloud Radio. So one thing that I've learned about it, but it's my setting. It's not anybody else's, And not to say nobody else is invited. You're greatly invited, all of you. I'm the destroyed structure of many. Everything in my hand. And I am. I'm the destroyed structure of many. Of many. You can point at any other person on this earth, I am. I could look at what happened in the last 10, 15 years. Going back to McVeigh. Going back to the Oklahoma City bombing. Going back to how there were government officials and SWAT team. There was a lot of undercover stuff going on that day. Used and camouflaged in the daylight. That's how much you need people around. Because you can control and manipulate the situation through a TV station news report. That's all you need. You could show people the biggest lie in the most honest way. And they still believe it. Because that's them. They don't care how big the lie is anymore. Well, they never cared how big the lie was because they obviously aren't saying anything to the people who write history books. And I think that's what really is the demeanor quality of our lives. Is that what we're learning doesn't matter. Well, if that doesn't matter, then it never will. Especially as Malcolm X said, if we're going to let the enemies teach our children, teach our children, then we're already fucked. But he didn't say it like that. I'm just kidding. But we're already in a bad position when we do that. We're allowing them to win. we allow our enemies to win by doing that. You know, but if we want that, I understand, you know. It matters what you consider an enemy. I mean, if an enemy is just people from another country, another race of people, another religion, if that's all an enemy is, wow. I wonder why there's so many robberies. I wonder why there's so much violence. You don't need to look that far to see exactly where this comes from. And I think that's what really is the funniest thing, is that, oh no, it's all individual people that are just crazy, that go nuts. You know, I mean, it's so easy to just, you know, gloss it over and say that's what it is. You know, label them a terrorist, so on and so forth. And that's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else above that. No, that's it. There can't be anything else. You know, there can't be anything under that. But there is. There's a lot more under that than there was in it. There always will be. Like I said, I'm the destroyed structure of many. I mean, I was born into it. I was born into it. You know, I was born into Timothy McVeigh, terrorism, the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, the 2001 terrorist attack, so to speak, and then our war that's humanitarian. The war that's humanitarian, as they would say in Austin Powers. As I'm, you know, quoting that humanitarian. To be fair and honest, that is the truth. You know, I'm sorry. I'm going to be fair and honest with both sides of the picture. Both sides of the picture are messed up. Both sides of the picture are destroyed, actually. There's nothing left of that picture. You know, it'd be nice, you know. I think that's what really is the counting validity of most people, is that they'll fight for something even if they know it's wrong. Even if they know there's everything about it is wrong, they'll fight for it. Because they need to know that they're right. They need to know they can get something good out of it, no matter how wrong it is. That's not with the Native Americans. Everyone said, no, we could do something right here. And then they almost committed genocide of all of them. And still want to. I mean, it's about power and control there. And once you have that, you have nothing else to, you know, you have nothing else to gain. I mean, to be fair, if all of us died, guess what? All of us died meaning, you know, at the bottom rung. If all of us died, they're going to die. That's the whole point, is that if you kill an idea, you die too. Especially if your idea is different from the other person. If you kill all our ideas, yours gonna die quicker. You won't even have. We have a longer lifespan than you ever will, because we'll last longer. It's like Snowden, you know. He spoke up for the NSA leaks and everything that he did, and yet people talk him down, you know, because he called the government's bluff about not hiding things. You know, if a government and everything is so good, you don't need to hide things. If you call the government's bluff, you're bad. I mean, he did prove that the government was bluffing. The government does hide things that aren't necessarily, you know, things that are happening that need to be protected. They're basically showing that they're having fun with what we are as humans. So everybody's saying, oh, well, you know, let's put them in court for this. Yeah, because, you know, we're treating people badly, but it's okay. We're treating people like shit through doing this, but it's all right, you know. We shouldn't even raise a fist on this point. Because, you know, it needs to be done. It needs to be done this way. Let's see about that one right there. I can see it crystal clear. People want to bully and revenge, and, you know, they don't want to get anything back for it. They want to be able to get away with bullying and revenge. To use those kind of tools to get that kind of way. So they want to get away with it completely. It should be okay, you know. Well, you know, most people would agree because they do the same thing. But if you accept the destroyed structure of the world right now, in general, let's see how much civilization exists. It doesn't. Because if you're able to allow that kind of stuff, there's no such thing as civilization. You don't need laws or rules or prisons to have a civilization. You need to have civilization and civilized people. And that's not a system. That's people. That's the very individual. That's self-ownership about what you do, how you treat people, is what you're going to get back. And that's why I'm the destroyed structure of many. Everything in my hand. It's all in my hand. All the destroyed stuff is in my hand. Meaning my hands are bloody with it all. I hate to say it, but it's true. I hate to say it, but not because I hate it, or, oh God, I hate myself or something. No, it's because I know that's how much it's going to be. It's not going to be an easy road of like, hey, those people did it so I could blame them. I mean, I wish it was that simple. There are a lot of things that can be that simple, but a lot of people don't want to do that. It'd be nice if at certain points in history, hopefully, that, wishing it, that we, a lot of more people stand up courageously and do speak up. Because the more people that speak up about it, guess what? At a certain point, that fruition of voices can't be shut down. If you only have one person speaking up about it, though, you're not going to get much. But if you have everybody speaking up about it, and all people speaking out, you're going to have something huge there. You're going to have a real standing army in that sense. You don't even need to have an army about it. You don't need to be violent about it at all. You just need to be honest. In fact, war is the last thing that you should do, because the first thing you need to do is just be honest. War is probably one of the biggest manipulation, lying tools ever. All you need to do is be honest. Figure it out, because it doesn't take much. That's what Turkey did. And yet we're saying, the people, the government, saying over there that they are protecting the children because the children's morals will be hurt. Oh yes, the children's morals, yeah. The family members dying and stuff like that in the last weeks before they produced any results on the CNN channel, before they activated any response to it in America, was huge. And Turkey was asking for America's help. The people that were actually protesting and saying that the Prime Minister said that he would listen to the people. Didn't listen to them at all. So right there and then, if we're not able to protect any democracies in the world or put our hand in to help them when they ask for it, guess what? We're not a real democracy. Never were. Especially if we never would help them. Except by saying that we need to stop this protest and violence. Except the violence that came at first was all the police and the state that they put the people in. But that's what really comes with it. It's like the French Revolution. You can't really have anything happen unless you truly want it to. Now, I'm not saying that violence is the solution for all things, because I don't think it is. But I think the difference is that unless people want to face the honest reality of things, it's going to come to violence. Because a lot of people can't face reality. So that's why things come to violence already. Because people can't face reality. So I could point that out about anybody in the whole world, for example, that it always came to violence. But that's because they don't want to be honest. I mean, it's not about standing alone. It's about doing it because you truly know. And if you know something and you're hiding it, you're just going to be violent about things then. That's why most people have been violent, because they know the truth. Now, I could point that out about any religion or civilization or society or fucking things like that, but there is no civilization. You think there's civilized people with all this stuff going on in the world right now? Even in this ventricle of my room? No, there's no civilized. There isn't. It'd be nice. It'd be nice if I could find somebody civilized, but I'm not saying I am even. I don't even think I am. I don't know what I am. I'm left in a generation of, not book nerds and very aggressive personalities. Drop dead to the bone. Because they got nothing left in them. No willpower at all. Yet they have the willpower enough to go do their job and go home. Robotic engineer, mechanical man. But it is a terrible thing, I think, in life to wait until you're ready. I have this feeling now that actually no one is ever ready to do anything. There is almost no such thing as ready. There is only now, and you may as well do it now. Generally speaking, now is as good as any. I agree and feel present is hardly considered. There, I'll say it. I do think the present, that was from Jax NTP, of course, that wrote that on her Facebook, that there is no such thing as ready. I believe that. I think that if there is a such thing as ready, it's always defined as being, in a very stable job, having money, living in a house. That's like, for example, the show called Ready for Love. they only use men, or they use people that are trying to find women when they're already produced in life, as if that makes them capable of love, capable of having a good relationship. There are more people on the street that are ready for a relationship than there are people who have money and living well. Or supposedly well. I'll quote that. But I agree with Jax right there. I do think the present is hardly considered, which is sad, because the present is probably the only thing that can perpetually set you in motion. The past can set you in motion. You can learn from it, but it can't set you in motion of what's happening. The future can't either. So when people say we have to think about the future, we need to think about the kids. No, we need to think about what they're doing to us right now, so that the kids don't have to worry about that stuff. That's what we need to do. We don't need to worry about the kids, because the kids are going to be messed up if we don't do something now. That's the difference. That's what I've seen through this deceptive logic of saying we need to look into the future. No, we don't. We need to look into what's happening right now. If we need to look into the future, that means we don't care about, we could gloss over anything that's being done to us right now. Just as much as we need to look at the past to understand and make the perpetual motion machine of the present move. I never did anything because I was ready. I did things because I knew it. I did things because I knew I was there. It doesn't mean I missed out on a lot, because, to be fair, there are certain things that worked out the way they were supposed to, too. And because I felt like, no, I'm not going to be treated like that. You know, at times when I didn't let things happen, it was because they showed their asshole. And it's true, you know, they showed what they would sling at you if you didn't. But see, people don't just do that when they're in that mode. Like, oh, if I don't get what I want, I'm going to do this. That means they're going to use that a lot of times. And when I see that, and when I see how they treat you, they're out of there. The picture's clear. And that's the one thing that I learned about a lot of different people in my past that I have apologized to, definitely. But I never get with them in that way. I never give them that opportunity, because the way they took the opportunity of knowing me at all, of knowing the kind of person I was, they treated me like that. They said those things to me. They said, you know, they intimidated me. They just tried to intimidate me. Well, why would I want to be your friend? You know the kind of friends I'm looking for? I'm looking for somebody who intimidates me with their words. Yes, that's a great person to know right there. That's a great person to be with around, because they always intimidate you. What else would you want? And I think that's what I've learned about that, where people would say, like, you know, when those kind of friends, you don't need enemies. Motherfucker, shut up, please. Because that's this thing that I've seen from that, is that people like using that as a means to support how they act. But you can't support how you act if you're going to treat everybody like they're going to be set in a trap. That's why I'm never set in a trap, because, motherfucker, that's it. I tried my best. You don't want any of this. That's it, you know. That's the one thing that I learned personally, is that I have the ability to move on, but it doesn't mean I'm not attached. It means that I have to move on because you don't want me to be attached in any way. And that's the one thing that I learned, is that I get attached. Whether it's a relationship, friendship, whatever, whether it's knowing you in any personal form or another, it doesn't mean that I can't change from being just, you know, like, let's say it's a girlfriend-boyfriend situation and they just want to be friends again. That's fine. But you have to move on too, meaning that you can't keep on saying, hey, I'm going to bring this up again. Okay? Or they're going to start labeling you because certain things are coming back to them. It's like where you have a woman, there was a great picture on Facebook that showed recently about, you know, how a woman is in like a month, a day, how her reaction is to an end of a relationship, and then the guy showing like a day, a month, a year, you know, or 6 months or something. It was something like that. And the guy got more depressed. The girl got more happy. But she was very sad at the beginning. And there's that big difference. I can understand that, actually, because I've gone through the same thing many times. That's why I'm doing this pink cloud right here. Because that's exactly what it is. I'm more sad now than ever. But it's not because I'm self-depreciating and feel valueless for something. It's actually because there was something of value there for me. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be in a certain way. That's the way it's going to go, and that's it. I never said that. But a lot of people assume that kind of logic, because if you've already expressed yourself, that means you want nothing else. That's not true, though. I think that's a stupid assumption that most people make, is that you want nothing else, do you, Marcello? No. In fact, that's the stupidest claim that anybody can ever make for me. If I wanted sex only, for example, because I joke around about it a lot, I don't know how you could ever assume that about me. I haven't had it. So why the fuck would I want it in that way? I think it's a big joke, because it's like, people don't want to understand that I've opened up a lot. Which means that people take advantage of it in the wrong way. You know, it doesn't mean that people aren't going to take advantage, because yes, I'm a nice person, but that also means that people take advantage of that niceness because they never experienced that kind of niceness. And it sucks, because that's the worst thing ever, is that I have to be that tool for somebody because they never experienced a kind person in their life. It sucks, because it leaves me as just my own obliterated object. That's what I mean. I'm the destroyed structure of many. Meaning that I'm a destroyed structure because there's no way anybody can look at me and say, man, that's a beautiful thing that this guy is so nice. They don't look at it that way. They look at it as if, man, why is that guy so different? That's how they do. They don't look at it as if it's a great thing. They look at it as if there's something wrong about this guy, right, Chill? And see, that's the one thing that I learned, is that, like, even being like, you know, oh, you can't flirt with other girls, that kind of stuff, like, people have said that I flirt with people. Well, if it's not flirting, if it's not working, it's not flirting. I'm going to live by that, because I think that's the biggest thing that most people don't see about me, is that I'm not going to be open and, you know, try something more. I'm going to joke around to the death, because until you want to take that seriously before you step into the ring, I ain't going to do a thing. I'm going to joke around, carry the love that I have, because it's the only thing I can do. I'm not going to give it to you, because I can see exactly what you're going to do. No assuming. Your attitude and your aggressive mode shows. That's all I need to know when I see that kind of stuff, is that shows the kind of intimidation you're going to use. I don't need to use intimidation. I'm right here. You know, that's the one thing I never really understood about intimidation, that people use so much intimidation, but they're right there. If you need to use an intimidation tool, that means you're not really being yourself. That means you're just using your tool of intimidation because you can't be there and face it for what it's going to be. And I think that's the one thing that I've learned throughout my life, that this is my life. Like, whether or not it works out 100%, it doesn't matter. You know, like, let's say I never get involved with somebody. You know, let's just say that. I'm going to enjoy all of it. Because I've enjoyed so much that I was able to at least be with somebody, kiss them, get close to them, be sensual, and get that good compliment about it. That's great. I can't really say there's a disregard for that, where I go, oh, what the fuck? Why don't I get anything else? Now, if I do get involved and there's a relationship that progresses and moves forward, that's great too. Because finally there's someone who actually wants that. That's great. But I can't look at it in a positive, or at least I can't look at it with a frugal attempt, with a chance, because that's not enough. Just having a chance shows that I did something to you where I didn't deserve more than a chance. Well, what have I done to you? I'm only sitting here doing the same thing every day, and very consistent about it, very committed to it, and that's not enough to prove to you, then I can't prove anything to you. Because the only way I can prove it to you is by doing something I would never do, and I'm already willing to risk that. By saying this right now. Which means I'm willing to risk everything, but it doesn't matter if I risk anything, because if you're not ready, then I'm not ready. And that's what I mean by all this stuff being in that kind of crystal clear image. You know? Everything in the right light. And not in the right light, right in the right dark. You know? Everything in that moment. Crystalline, pure. You know? You can see it for what it is. And you don't try to betray your trust or try to see it as something else. You know? You know, you have a right to... You don't have the right to judge me, but you have the right to kill me. And that's true. That's all you have the right to do. You could go ahead and judge me, but, I mean... When you do something you don't have the right to do, you're gone and you're screwed. And... It's sad, because the present to me is always considered. Present to me is always considered. But, you know, it's all it takes is saying that if you're happy with me there, you should be happy when I'm not there too. Because it gives you time, it gives me time, and when we're together, it gives us more time. And I felt that through every intersection of people that I met too. I actually felt true love there. And I think that's what really is the difference, is that people either are going to accept that true love or true devotion in that sense, or they're not going to. Or they don't want to, or they don't trust it because of what has happened before. And that can happen too. So I can't really say there's a struggle, there's a light, there's a darkness, there's anything like that. There's just me being me and you being you. And we'll see what happens next, or else it'll be screwed. But I know what I'm doing. So take care, everybody. Love.